welcome to my channel. My name is Karuna and we consider trauma and transformation here. Today I pose a big question. The question is, why does trauma hurt? Have you ever thought of that? Why is that so? Does it have to be so? We'll begin by considering love. We are all drawn to love. We all yearn to love and to be loved. Poets and artists and musicians do their best to convey the experience and feeling of love. Today I'm going to try to give us a definition of love. Love is experienced when the distance between ourself and another collapses. And when I mean distance, I don't mean physical distance. I mean the distance of the other. The otherness collapses. Us versus them, right versus wrong. When that collapses, we find ourselves resting in love. Now, our animal friends are notoriously efficient in evoking love from us. So when we gaze in our furry friend's eyes, it evokes this response where the distance collapses and we rest with them in being, in our greater nature, in authentic self, the same thing. Separateness dissolves, and there we are, finding ourselves home at last in love. Love is our birthright. In other words, we emerge from love, and if we're very fortunate in this healing journey, we remember love and we return home to love. With this as the platform for our understanding, let's now look at the family of origin. We arrive here knowing deep inner truths. And when a family of origin is disrespectful and abusive, we start to become removed from this inner wisdom, from this inner knowing, from love. If the family of origin repeats the disrespectful messages enough, repeats the abuse often enough, we find ourselves increasingly divorced from our inner wisdom, and we find ourselves exiled in a certain bandwidth. And that bandwidth is often very heady. Now, some families will have a healthier dynamic. The children will still experience trauma, but there will be a bridge back to the inner knowing that allows the trauma to settle and allows the child to come to ease. And to have that bridge back and forth is very healthy. That person can navigate through life with a little greater ease. However, when trauma is laid down in a repetitive manner, that child will become frozen in the bandwidth of, say, fear or anxiety or headiness, hypervigilance, dissociation. It's this freezing within the bandwidth that makes us feel shipwrecked and exiled. This is deeply painful because we've been removed from the truth of our being, the intuitive knowing of our own self with a capital S, our authentic self. A second aspect of trauma that is so deeply painful is the removal of beauty. We are increasingly removed from the beauty of life itself. Beauty connects us to deeper truths, and this is a lifeline back to intuitive wisdom, to love. The power of beauty is magnificent. Some years ago, I started to collect mid-century modern design, and I just knew I loved the natural flowing organic lines. I had a display of pottery on some shelving in my home, and a friend asked me, "Why do you like this pottery so much?" I turned to him and said, "These flowing lines in the pottery emulate the flow of the universe." I really didn't know what was coming out of my mouth, but looking back, I now knew that my draw to this pottery, these particular designs, was evoking deeper love that was arising from the inside out. Beauty enhances the flow of love and helps us remember the truth of who and what we are within. A child who's been traumatized is now exiled from love and beauty. We become hopeless, mired in depression, or frozen in anxiety. In dissociation, we can't take in the beauty of our world. The vast gap between love, that which we most long for, and this frozen bandwidth appears impenetrable and uncrossable. Many of us who are familiar with this terrain will develop coping mechanisms, eating disorders, drug addictions, alcohol addictions, shopping addictions, food addictions, the list goes on and on. However, on the healing journey, we begin to dissolve, to melt the frozen tundra. As this bandwidth melts, the insights arise, the aha moments come to the foreground. They were in the background, but now they come to the foreground. Once they're in the foreground, they move through the field of emotion. So if the frozen bandwidth was largely mental, mind, the melting of the tundra allows the emotions to arise. So we may feel great waves of sadness. We may feel great waves of anger. And in the feeling of these experiences that were once frozen, those emotions can start to settle. And what do they eventually settle in? Inevitably settle in? Love, our greater nature. Yes, trauma hurt for a time, but now that you can see the landscape, you can ask the question, you have the ability to ask the question, why does trauma hurt? Now that you know, you can depersonalize the trauma, sit back, you don't need to eat in on yourself anymore with the mind, and bring your healing full circle. I'm here for you. Everyone in our community is here for you. If you like this video, please let me know by pressing the like button and share. Let's help alleviate the pain and suffering of others. Share this video, get it out there, and I'm always interested in your comments and your insights. I look forward to seeing you back on the channel very soon.